Okay, guys, it's Brian here again, and doing day 3 of my 12 days of wet shaving video series. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about soaps and creams. When you get into wet shaving, just the sheer variety of choices can be absolutely overwhelming. At least it was to me. And then it's also very easy to get caught up in what we call sad soap addiction, where you're trying to acquire all of the soaps that are out there, and they're coming out with new ones, and it's so hard to keep up. And so I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the soaps, the creams, and try to give you some insight into why there's so many different varieties, and what works well for me, and maybe what might work well for you. In the traditional wet shaving space, there are basically two varieties of shaving product that you can use in your face: shaving creams and shaving soaps. Now, there's one that kind of, some people would say, fits in the middle, that they call croaps. That they would say, well, it's not really a soap and it's not really a cream, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But basically, you've got shaving creams and you've got shaving soaps. Now, we live in, and you'll get probably get tired of me saying this, we live in the golden age of wet shaving, and there are a great number of artisans out there that are making shaving soaps today, and it seems like there's a new one popping up just about every day. In the shaving cream realm, though, there aren't very many. In fact, there's only one, and I believe it's called Al's Shaving Cream or Big Al Shaving Cream, but there's only one artisan I know of that's actually working in the shaving cream realm. Hoping that maybe there'll be some more that get into that area or that space. But right now, mainly, when you buy a cream, you're going to be buying a commercial product. And nothing wrong with that. There are some very great commercial shaving creams that are out there today. And I actually have a number of creams. My first real shaving cream, so to speak, and when I got into traditional wet shaving, was Taylor of Old Bond Street Sandalwood. And this, to this day, is still one of my favorites. The scent on this is just absolutely amazing. It's a little bit more cologne-y, I would say. And some people describe it that way. I would agree. But it is just a phenomenal scent, and I just absolutely love it. It's the first product that I ever got. It's the first product that I ever finished an entire container of, and it's the first product I ever rebought. And this is something that I will have in my den. I always want to have this in my den. You can see that this comes in a tub, in a fairly good sized tub, and you would just see that it's, oops, I almost dropped the container here, but you see I've got it on my fingers there. It's just very, it's very easy to pick it up, and so it's going to make it very, very easy for you to load your brush. If you're getting into traditional wet shaving and you're trying to get down your technique and whatnot, and how much do I load your brush and whatnot, starting with a cream is going to be a great place to start, because it's just going to give you big successes or little successes as you kind of transition your way up. Where if you jump in with a soap that's notoriously hard to lather, like Mystic Waters, you may just be discouraged to not even continue to pursue the hobby. So I would highly recommend starting with Taylor of Old Bond Street cream. It's just a great place to start. Very great price point. I think it's about $15 or $17 for a big tub of this. And they have just some really, really great scents. This being, my absolute favorite. I also have tried the German Street, I believe it's what it's called, Eton College. There were a couple other ones that I tried and I liked. I really, really love the German Street. And I'm going to be acquiring a tub of that in the near future. But very, very great place to start, and economically feasible. And it will give you great performance every time. Easy to load, easy to lather, and just a great spot. By and large, though, when you're talking about creams generally don't come in tubs. Generally, you'll find the creams, they come in tubes. And this here happens to be C.O. Bigelow, which is a Proraso rebranded cream that you can buy at Bath & Body Works. And they are constantly having sales on this. You can pick this up very reasonably. And this is just another great performer. The scent on this is kind of, I think it's got a eucalyptus base, and just really nice, very pleasant. I love this. It's got menthol in, and I love this scent in the summer. And I also love this scent when I've got a cold. I don't know, just something about it kind of helps open me up. And so this is another great place to start, and readily available. Those of you in the United States, just about every mall has a Bath and Body Works, and so you can pick this up fairly cheaply. Another cream that I have that I really, really like is Crabtree and Evelyn, I believe is how it's called. Crabtree and Evelyn. This happens to be their West Indian line. Now, I've heard that the West Indian line soap for them is it's a notoriously hard to lather soap, but this this cream has a very, very wonderful scent. It's almost like shaving with key lime pie is how I would describe it. And it performs very wonderfully. So those are a couple of the shaving creams. You can find them, again, there's many of the commercial ones out there. There's Old Spice, I believe you can find that online. It's not going to be one you'll find in a store. Palmolive is another one that you can find online. Just a number of different shaving creams that are out there. And a great place to start for somebody that's getting into the wet shaving hobby. Especially, I would say this one here because it's so easily accessible. And then this one just because it's just awesome. It's just awesomeness in a tub. Performance is great. Scents are great. And so I would highly recommend that one as well. Now, when you get into soaps, soaps is where there's just so much different variety. Like I said, there's just tons and tons of new artisan makers coming onto the scene every day. Now, there are traditional commercial style soaps that are out there, and many of them are wonderful. You have ones like Truefit and Hill and Taylorville Bond Street, and I've got one here that's I don't know if you would. This to me is kind of one that's in between maybe the artisan or the commercial, but the W.M. Newman soaps, and then you have things like Williams. This is just a classic, and you can find this in just about every drugstore, and I would say probably every supermarket. Colgate's another one I believe that that comes out in this kind of style. So these shaving soaps are there's a lot of commercial options available. Another one is and I want to talk about this for a couple of reasons. Another one is Arko. Arko is a soap. I believe it comes out of Turkey, and this is another commercial type soap. There's a Tabac, and I've got a shave stick of Tabac out of Germany, and so again, a lot of great commercial options. One of the things that you will find before I get into the artisans is you will also see that you have a number of different forms that soaps come in. So you'll have shave sticks. Shave sticks are ones that you don't necessarily load onto the brush, although you can take these and shave them and put them in a bowl, press them down, and use the brush to load. But these were traditionally, you wet your face, you take the shave stick, you rub it on your face, and then you take your brush and you use your brush to generate the lather. You have pucks like this, these mug soaps, the Williams, that you would, traditionally they would get these, they would take the box, they would throw it away, they would take this, drop it in the bottom of a mug, and they would use that until it was gone. So a lot of different delivery methods for these soaps. I really, really like this artisan that's on Etsy. Her name is Eva Nestorova. And hers soaps come very simply packaged. She wraps them in plastic wrap. She labels them. And she actually just makes them in a muffin tin. They're just the shape of a muffin. So again, you can just take this, you can hold it in your hand, and you can lather it. You can put it in a mug. You can put it in a scuttle. This actually fits very nicely in a scuttle. And again, different styles of delivery of the soaps. In the artisan area, you have basically two different types of soap. And what I mean by that is we'll have vegan-based soaps, and you will have tallow-based soaps. I guess the third one would be glycerin-based soaps. So I would say probably three different areas, and there may be more, but just for my and what I have in my den, that's really the three areas or categories that I would break them down into. Now, when I first got into wet shaving, and I saw vegan, I kind of reacted a little bit against that, I'll be honest, because I am somebody who I kind of describe myself as being a meatitarian. And so when I first saw vegan, I thought, oh, great, here we are, you know, some of these crazy, you know, kooks that are, you know, vegetarians and very militant, and that's what this is all about. And so I kind of avoided vegan soaps for the first bit, just because I was like, I don't want to get into this whole vegan versus, you know, tallow based. Well, that's not really what it's all about. And I've come to understand that. I've come to understand that with lathering soaps, and we'll talk about this in another episode, but lathering soap, so much of it plays into your water quality. And so vegan soaps are actually going to lather easier with hard water than a tallow-based soap would. At least that's been my experience. And I have fairly hard water. So when I was first struggling with some tallow-based soaps, I was like, these soaps suck. Well, the reason is not the soaps suck, but it's because my water quality doesn't allow them to perform optimally. And so now that I kind of understand, okay, vegan soaps are going to work a little better with my water, and obviously I could go get distilled water and all that stuff, but I got over that vegan versus tallow-based soap. So some great artisans out there in this space. I want to talk about them just real briefly, and some of the, you know, their pluses and minuses. The first one I want to talk about is Soap Commander. Soap Commander is just a phenomenal company. Darren and Carrie Siebert, or we can call them Derry, are just absolutely wonderful people, and just they make a phenomenal product. And so, you know, the thing I love about dealing with artisans is that you're dealing with people that you can approach and you can talk to. You know, try that when you're dealing with, I believe, Procter & Gamble may own Williams now. I'm not sure. But anyhow, you know, try that with, you know, talking to the CEO of whoever makes Williams, or, you know, getting a hold of the guy from, you know, the CEO of Taylor of Old Bond Street or whatever. You know, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You know, the CEO of Bed Bath & Beyond, or not Bed Bath & Beyond, but Bath & Body Works. But you get my point, you know, where I've talked to Darren and Carrie, not physically, but, you know, I've chatted with them, and I've asked questions, and I've gotten responses, and they're just absolutely wonderful, wonderful people. And by doing this, I'm supporting them. This is what they do for a business. This is how they support their family. And I would much rather support, you know, somebody like this than I would, this is just me personally, you know, than throwing all my money towards some nameless, faceless corporation. And it's not that I'm an anti-corporation guy, and I don't want to get into all the politics and all that kind of stuff, but just I like to support the little guy. And so Darren and Carrie Siebert are great people, wonderful people that are actively involved in the community, and they just make an absolutely phenomenal product. This is their Thanks Living limited edition fall scent. I've got their Courage scent as well, and it is just absolutely phenomenal. I use this. I want to attack it with a spoon. It's kind of an apple spiced scent. Wonderful stuff. It lathers very easily. It's got this nice tub where you can really get down in there, and it's not you know, the lather isn't flopping all over everywhere. Just great people, great soap, and I absolutely love it. Maggard Razors is another great company, and this here is their orange menthol. They don't actually make this. They actually have an artisan by the name of Maria who makes their soaps for them. This is another phenomenal scent. I absolutely love it. It's an orange based scent, and it just is like you're shaving with an orange on your face. Love it. This is great stuff, and it's fairly inexpensive. Now I want to talk a little bit about Douglas Smythe and How to Grow a Mustache, which has now become Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. And he started out with the How to Grow a Mustache label, and in his 1.0 soap, it was a hard puck. Very hard. I'm impressing on it as hard as I can and not denting it at all. He's since moved to, and actually I think he's on to a 2.5 version of his soaps. But this was a 2.0 version. This was still under the How to Grow a Mustache label. This was his Steeplechase Sport. But you can see that this is a little bit not quite as firm. And this is where some people would say, well, this is kind of a crope. It's not really a soap. It's, you know, I would kind of say this is a soap. I would kind of disagree with him. But it's just a softer soap than his 1.0 base. Now he's gone to basically, I think, making everything now on the 2.5 base. There was some controversy a little bit ago, and I don't really want to get into all of that stuff. The fact of the matter is, this performs awesome if you can get your hands on it. This performs awesome if you get your hands on it. And, you know, I've heard wonderful things about the 2.5. I don't have any in my den, But and he's somebody again who gives back to the community, and that's how he makes a living. Ginger's Garden is another great artisan. This happens to be a Marrakesh scent. I absolutely love her soaps, and her scents are phenomenal. And she's another great person that I absolutely want to support because, she is, from my understanding, this is what she does for a living. And she's just an absolute wizard when it comes to scent combinations. About 6 or 8 months ago, I was trying to get my wife into the whole wet shaving thing, and there was a soap that my wife really, really liked, a bar soap, a bath soap, and I contacted Irina, and she came up with a custom blend soap and did it in a bath bar form for my wife, so that she could lather it without a brush and all that kind of stuff. As I was trying, and now my wife is kind of getting into the wet shaving thing, but she's just an absolute phenomenal person, and this is just a phenomenal scent. I love this scent. It's just absolutely intoxicating. I've got the aftershave to go with it, and she's, again, to me, this is about supporting the artisans as much as it is, it's a win-win for everybody because you get an awesome product with awesome scents. Another artisan, and I don't know if this is his full-time job or if he does it on the side. I don't know much, but Barrister Man is another great artisan. And this is I'm not 100% sold on this scent yet. It's growing on me, but it's like kind of a musty apple. This was his fall scent. But one of the things that's different on this is this actually has lanolin in it. So this is actually lanolin comes from wool, and this will just provide a little bit of a different post-shave feel just because of that lanolin. You will find that with a tallow base versus the vegan-based soaps, that's going to provide slightly different post-shave feel. And you will also find that as you move from artisan to artisan, that different soaps are going to perform differently for you. And even within with one particular artisan, they might have a couple of different bases that they're working with. So I know, for example, Tiki has a tallow base, and they have a vegan base. I believe Darren and Carrie just use the same base, and it's just different scents. Barrister Man has a couple of different bases that he uses. I know that Ginger's Garden, she has some that like this that she makes herself. She's got a glycerin line, which is more of a melt and pour, that she buys a commercial soap base and adds scents to it. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit. You've got guys like Chris Cullen from Katie's Bubbles who lost his job, and so he got into soap making as a way to support his family, and I think that's awesome. I want to support people like that. And he's a great guy. He's somebody else who I've chatted with, and I actually have a custom soap on my way on the way to my house. Excited about it. And just a phenomenal guy. In his line, he has basically two different bases. He has a French style, and he has an Italian style. This happens to be the French style, which is a little bit, again, this is kind of almost, you might say, like a cream. You can see it's very, very soft. The Italian style, as I remember, was a little bit harder soap. And I personally prefer the French style soap to the Italian because of the performance and whatnot, but the scents are awesome. And then finally, I wanted to talk a little bit about Eva Nestorova. Now again, her packaging is nowhere near as professional looking as somebody like Ginger's Garden or Maggard's or Soap Commander. It's just not. Her soaps are very, very well priced, very cheap soaps, but the performance on these are phenomenal, and the scents on her soaps are off the chart. Very strong scents. I absolutely love her soaps. She's found on Etsy, and I am just very, very, very happy with Eva's soaps. John Halleck actually turned me on to her soaps, and I have, I think, about 6 different ones, and I love them. And so, again, it's a little bit of a different take, I'm supporting somebody who maybe she's doing this. I don't know if she's doing it out of her kitchen. I've never chatted with her. But for me, I like, supporting, the little guy. And so this gives me an opportunity to do that and just have an absolute wonderful, wonderful product that performs very, very well. Now, when I go to wrap this up today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about melt and pour soaps. There's a bit of a controversy about melt and pour soaps, and whether or not people who use those are really truly artisan soap makers and whatnot. Quite frankly, for me personally, as long as they're up front with this is melt and pour, I don't care. As long as the product performs well, because for me, in the soap space, I'm looking at two things. I'm looking at performance, I'm looking at scent. I want a nice scent, I want good performance. And if somebody can provide me, maybe they are not, a wizard in the lab like a Chris Cullen or a Douglas Smythe to be able to build their own base, but they're very good with scent combinations. If they buy a commercial-based soap and then they add their scents to it, I'm good with that as long as they're honest about it. And most of them are. If you ask them, they will tell you. And so, again, I don't get really down into some of that stuff and get all bent out of shape. Well, melt and pour is a lower class than a standard, Katie's Bubbles or something like that. No, to me, if it performs well, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for performance, and I am looking for scent. That's me personally. So anyhow, hopefully this is my ramblings here are helpful to somebody. Again, if you get into wet shaving, this may be like a overload, and it's you can end up being like a kid in a candy store. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. And I would really caution you, if you're getting into the hobby right now, I would say find something that you like I did with Taylor of Old Bond Street. I was very fortunate to get this as a Christmas present. Find something that you like and use this, whatever it is, until you get your technique down and you get comfortable with shaving, and then explore as much as you can. Now be careful. You don't want to live in a van down by the river because you spent so much money on soaps. But it's absolutely a great way to enjoy the hobby. And it's just, for me, all of these different artisans, that you have the opportunity of supporting, to me, it's just absolutely a great, it's a win-win for everybody. You're getting a great product, you're getting great scents, and you're able to support people who are trying to make a living at this. So all of that said, this is Brian wrapping up a rather long segment in my 12 days of shaving, talking about soaps and creams. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, and have a good day, everybody.